Banks have been scheduling to close since 2015, and more banks are closing each and every month since 2015, and especially in 2023. So let's talk about the banks that are closing now in 2023 and maybe what you can do about it or not. Many people have been warning us that banks are falling. We are in a banking crisis right now. As of today, just 3 hours ago, First Republic Bank trading halted amid crisis and potential government seizure. First Republic Bank experienced a trading halt on Wednesday as the stock market opened, cited as the reason for the suspension, volatility. The bank's stock prices reached 52-week lows, prompting concerns. However, this marks the second consecutive day that First Republic Bank's trading was halted, as the stock price has plummeted 94% this year. As the crisis unfolds, First Republic Bank is investigating possible salvational measures to address its situation. The bank's stock price dropped by more than 23% following a 49% decline yesterday. In contrast, several other regional banks saw their stocks rise, highlighting the challenges faced by First Republic Bank. For example, PacWest stock increased 15% despite losing billions in the first quarter. Meanwhile, First Republic is reportedly exploring options to shield itself from potential government seizure. This is major breaking news. This possibility was reported yesterday. Multiple reports suggest that First Republic Bank may divest $50 billion to $100 billion of various assets to address the current predicament. The bank itself has stated that it is seeking strategic options to mitigate the crisis. Last month, during a budding banking crisis, the bank lost access of $100 billion in deposits. In deposits, y'all. This is serious. If you have not been paying attention by now, you know that when you deposit your money into any bank, that's their money. They're going to invest that money. And with the way things are in the economy right now, you guys, I don't trust that. So you need to be taking some money out. If you want to leave some in, do what you will. But you need to be setting aside your funds for that rainy day that banking system crashes altogether, or you just don't have access to your funds. Do you recall what happened with Bank of America and a couple other banks, and people could not get their money? Like SVB, they could not get their money. They waited in long lines to try to get their money. So guys, pay attention and please hit the like button. Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to Tommy's Carolina Homestead. Thank y'all for being here today. I hope you guys who watched the video earlier of me planting the peppers will understand that if we all just plant a little bit of something, we'll be a little bit better off, because things are just not getting better anytime soon. We're going to talk about banks today, because banks today are disappearing. And when I mean banks today, I'm talking about brick and mortar banks are shutting their doors and pushing more and more customers to go online and bank with them. So before I get deep into this video, I'm going to try not to make it a long one, because we are in the process of doing our own cabinets, and my husband's actually decided he's going to do a video by himself. So we are doing that, but I needed to get this information out to you. So please give this video a thumbs up. Show YouTube that you are interested in this video so that they can push it out to other people, and more people will know that they need to pay attention to their bank accounts and who they bank with, because that bank may no longer be on that street corner that they're used to going in. Brick and mortar disappearing. So banks are disappearing from the high street as more people use online services to manage their money. Banks and building societies have closed or have scheduled to close a total of 5,579 branches since January of 2015. So this is not new. But what it new is happening is the rate that these banks are shutting down and closing their doors permanently. I've seen them myself with my own two eyes. Banks that have gone under, that have closed down for whatever reason. And the rate is ridiculous. This works out to be around 54 branches each month. And there are more coming this year. HSBC said it would shutter 114 banks, around a quarter of its total sites in 2023. Lloyd's is closing at least 62 banks in total, while NatWest has 106 scheduled to shut their doors forever this year. Barclays will shut 95 sites in 2023. Halifax will shutter 32 branches in total, and Santander will close 5 branch locations in 2023. That is a lot of banks that will be shutting down. And they like to say we don't need to be worried about the banking situations and that things are looking better and there aren't any bank runs being made. All it takes is one bank. We saw what happened when that one bank went under, right? Nationwide will close 2, and TSB has so far announced it will shut 9 sites, while Virgin Money is set to shut just 1. Bank of Scotland is also shutting 4 branches, and RBS is closing 2 branches. Like I said, PNC, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America also shuttered locations, brick and mortar, and also locations that were set up inside of grocery stores. That's what PNC did. They shuttered a number of their locations in New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Washington, D.C., at the Stop and Shop and the Giant Food. And they intend to shutter more, you guys. So roughly 8,000 banks were in operation in 2000, but 22 years later, just half survived. Recent waves have even created banking deserts. You heard of food deserts. Now we're talking about banking deserts. So when I say things are getting really serious, have gotten serious, we need to pay attention to what is happening so that we have funds. We need to set money aside enough to be able to pay some bills 3 to 6 months. Because if the systems go down or they decide they want to switch over the currency or something like that and something goes wrong with that, we need to still have access to our funds. And we all know once we deposit our money into the banks, it is now theirs to invest. And it's no telling what they're going to invest in this economy. It was just in 2021 that both Wells Fargo and Bank of America were forced to temporarily close locations in late 2021 due to labor shortages and a surge in that infection that was going around. But now they're shutting locations permanently. Like I told you in other stories, Wells Fargo is closing a total of 14 branches, but I expect that more will be shutting down. And this is across the country. Individual locations will be shut down in Chicago, San Francisco, New Jersey, Denver, Richmond, Chandler, Arizona, Surfside Beach, South Carolina, Minneapolis, Ponte Vedra. I mean, they're closing locations in a lot of areas, even in Austin, Texas. And Wells Fargo closed the most retail locations out of all the other banks, according to CNBC, shutting down 267 branches. Numbers continue to fall this year, according to Winston-Salem Journal. At the end of June, and finally, it's saying here that Bank of America has fewer closings on their docket, but they will be shutting down a location in Darien, Connecticut. I told you about that before. I'm telling you again. And 2 locations in San Francisco and a location in West Newton, Massachusetts. According to Bank of America's store locator, the Darien location will close, and it should already be closed, you guys. And these are just the closures that have been announced so far. So here is a full list that I'm giving you from this article of banks that have shut down in 2023. So you can see that I'm not making this stuff up. This is a lot of banks that will be closing down. I'm going to try to go through these as fast as I possibly can. Here are the 62 banks that Lloyd's is closing right here from January 9th all the way to current date, April 20th, April 25th, May 10th, May 15th. And you may say, well, these are in England. Don't you know that what happens around the world affects us here, especially when we're talking about money?